At the very edge of a quiet forest stood a small stone cottage, worn by time but softened by ivy that crept lovingly along its walls. The air around it often carried the scent of rosemary, thyme, and wildflowers growing in the modest garden out front. Inside lived a widow and her 2 daughters. The elder, Clarice, was sharp-eyed and sharper-tongued, her pride as heavy as the silk ribbons she insisted on wearing. The younger, Marianne, was gentle and thoughtful, her presence as calming as the evening light that spilled through the windows at sunset. Though the cottage was humble, it glowed with warmth, at least when Marianne was near. But kindness, as it often does, went unnoticed. The widow adored Clarice with an affection so fierce it blinded her to every flaw. Clarice's cruelty was excused as confidence, her vanity praised as strength. Marianne, on the other hand, was treated as little more than a servant. She fetched water from distant wells, scrubbed floors until her hands ached, and stitched her own dresses when the hems frayed. While Clarice admired herself in polished metal mirrors, Marianne learned to admire the world quietly. "Stop dreaming," her mother would snap. "Dreams won't fill your stomach." Marianne never argued. She had learned that silence was safer than truth. One blazing summer afternoon, the widow discovered the water jars were empty. "Go," she ordered, "to the well beyond the orchard. Take the largest jug, and don't dawdle." The path was long, the sun unforgiving. Dust clung to Marianne's shoes as bees hummed lazily through the heat. Her arms ached beneath the weight of the jug, but she walked on without complaint. Kindness, after all, does not ask to be praised. At the old stone well, Marianne filled her jug carefully and paused to catch her breath. That was when she heard a soft, trembling voice. "My dear child, might I trouble you for a drink of water?" An elderly woman stood nearby, bent and weary, her clothes worn thin by time. "Of course," Marianne replied without hesitation. She rinsed the jug, drew fresh water, and offered it gently. The woman drank slowly, her eyes studying the girl with quiet wonder. "Few would show such kindness without hope of reward," the woman said. Marianne smiled. "I was simply doing what felt right." The old woman straightened suddenly. In a shimmer of light, her form transformed, ragged clothes became flowing silk, age melted into radiance. She was no beggar, but a fairy, glowing like moonlight. "You have revealed your heart," the fairy said. "From this day forward, every word you speak shall reflect it." She raised her hand. "From your lips will fall flowers and jewels, symbols of the kindness within you. Speak wisely." Before Marianne could thank her, the fairy vanished like mist beneath the sun. Back at the cottage, Clarice and the widow waited impatiently. "You took long enough," her mother snapped. Marianne began to explain. But as she spoke, diamonds scattered across the floor. Roses bloomed at her feet. Pearls shimmered like dew. The room fell silent. Clarice gasped. The widow's eyes gleamed, not with wonder, but with greed. "Tell me everything," she demanded. And with every gentle word Marianne spoke, more treasure fell. That same evening, the widow seized Clarice's arm. "You will go to the well tomorrow," she said. "Do exactly as your sister did." Clarice protested, until she saw the glittering pile of jewels. The next morning, she set off, muttering rehearsed kindness beneath her breath. At the well, a woman appeared, this time dressed like a princess. "May I have a sip of water?" she asked sweetly. Clarice sneered. "I didn't come here to serve strangers." The woman's eyes darkened. "Then you shall receive what your heart holds." Clarice laughed it off and returned home. But when she spoke, a toad leapt from her mouth. Then another. Snakes followed, hissing, coiling across the floor. The house erupted in screams. The widow panicked. "This is your sister's doing," she shouted at Marianne. "No, mother," Marianne pleaded. "I only—" "Get out," the widow screamed. "You've ruined us." As the sun dipped low, Marianne walked away from the only home she had ever known. A royal carriage approached. Inside sat a prince returning from the hunt. He ordered the carriage to stop when he saw the girl walking alone. "Are you in trouble?" he asked. Marianne answered softly, and lilies and pearls fell from her lips. The prince stared, astonished. "Come with me," he said. My family must meet you. At the palace, Marianne greeted the king and queen. Diamonds rolled across marble floors. But it was not the jewels that won them over, it was her humility. If she will have me, the prince said, let that be her reward. And so Marianne became his bride. Back in the village, Clarice was shunned. Every word she spoke drove people away in fear. Even her mother turned on her. Clarice fled into the forest, cursing, each curse birthing more creatures, until she vanished entirely. The widow, surrounded by riches that brought no joy, withered alone. Under Marianne's rule, kindness spread like sunlight. The hungry were fed. The weak protected. Her words no longer needed jewels to shine, their kindness was enough. And though the fairy was never seen again, her gift lived on. For words, once spoken, can either wound or heal. And a gentle heart, though quiet, echoes forever.